like a detective, you know? Like, we've got the leather. This is my favorite jacket, guys. It's from Zara, and I wear it all the time, everywhere. If I'm traveling and you see me, I'm probably wearing this jacket. Just saying, because it's just everything it needs to be. But anyway, welcome back to my channel, guys. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video. Okay, today we are ending the interview series with our last episode, episode number 5. If you enjoyed this series and you enjoy me doing series in general, leave comments down below and I'll try and come up with different series or make suggestions on different interview questions that you want help answering, because I have all the answers. I have all the answers to interview questions. That is one thing that I do really well. I interview very well. And I want to give my experience and my success to you guys by telling you how to answer these questions. So today is episode 5, and we're going to be talking about, why are you interested in this organization? A question that I don't really love all that much, because I'm interested because I applied. I applied because I'm interested. I feel like the interest should be implied, but it's not. Some people just apply to a job because it's just a job. And I think by asking this questions, employers almost weed out the people who may not stay for a long time. In order to stay in your job for a long time, you have to be interested in a multitude of things. The culture, the company, coworkers, boss, the salary, the time off, the work-life balance. There's multiple things that you need to gauge interest. And I almost feel like when you're passionate about the company, it holds you in a little bit tighter, because you almost have this like love or ideation with the organization that keeps you, keeps you holding on in like difficult moments. So I really believe that that's why people ask this question, and I don't blame them. So as I've done in some of the previous videos, I'm just going to give one example for this one, but as I've done in the previous videos, I'm going to give an example and then we're going to talk about why it was a good answer, things that you can say and things that you shouldn't say in answering this question. So I'm in an interview. Someone asked me, so Kyyah, why are you interested in this organization? I'm interested in this organization because your mission and your values align with my own personal values. And on top of that, the population that you guys are choosing to serve is one that is of special interest to me. I personally think it's really important for us to start including marginalized communities in clinical research. And I see that your organization is working really hard to do that. I've done a lot of research on your website, and also I've gone on LinkedIn and read articles about all the things that your organization is doing. And I think it's really beautiful when you have the opportunity to be a part of the change that you've been hoping, dreaming, wishing for. And knowing that this organization is at the forefront of that change is exactly why I want to be a part of this company. Okay, so that answer was more geared towards the healthcare space, and I was answering as if I was interviewing for any kind of healthcare company. But essentially the things that you want to say is you want to speak to the company's culture. You want to speak to who the company is serving and how that relates to you. For example, I've always talked about on this channel how I have sickle cell trait, and in the beginning of my career, I did a lot of research in sickle cell disease and sickle cell trait in sub-Saharan Africa. And I, in the beginning of my career as well, would apply to companies that were researching sickle cell or researching hematology or oncology, or a company that talked a lot about wanting to include marginalized communities in clinical research, be it in the studies or having a seat at the table. So in all my interviews, I always research that information and then I tie it back to answering that question. So I say, well, your company is focused on serving marginalized communities. I got my master's in public health with a concentration in urban healthcare disparities, and it's really important for me to be a part of an organization that's serious about making changes and improving the quality of life of who have been disproportionately disadvantaged. So tying it to my own personal goals and what the company does. For example, I'm just gonna take a random company and say Google. If I was interviewing for a job at Google and they asked me that question, I would say that I'm interested in, it would depend on the job that I'm applying for, of course, but I would say I'm interested in Google because Google has given its users a voice. It's given people like me, creators, marginalized communities, tall, big, small, all people from all walks of life and all backgrounds, the opportunity to have a voice, speak their mind and be heard. An opportunity to create a space, a community for themselves rather than just joining having a community. I really feel like Google is the face of individualization among Generation Z and millennials. So that's something I would say for Google. Again, I'm just spitballing, but I really do like the fact that Google has YouTube, and it really has given people a space to create community and be who they are and be among people who want to support and lift them up. And it's also given people financial freedom in order to create channels like this. But that's one thing I would say for why I want to join Google. If somebody said, if I was interviewing for Yelp, this is how I would answer that question. I want to work for Yelp because I've been Yelp Elite for a few years now, and I really just love that Yelp is giving a voice to small businesses, and by allowing people such as myself who live in certain communities to go to these restaurants and leave reviews for other people to experience those places, I feel like it's invaluable. A lot of the time, Generation Z and millennials want to know something is already good or something is bad or something is amazing, and by having a platform like Yelp, it gives people the opportunity to know what they're getting before they get it, to know what they're going to experience before they experience. So it's created this amazing pathway for users and business owners to kind of communicate, and I really just appreciate that about Yelp. Or I could say I love food, and Yelp is all about food, and I'm a big foodie, and it's a platform for me to voice my opinions about food and not feel judged for speaking my mind, because the Yelp community values people's opinions. There are multiple ways you can answer this question. I wanted to give you the example of Google and Yelp because I think that it allows for you to understand how to answer that question rather than me just answering it with my typical pharma healthcare responses, because that's a lot easier for me to speak to. And it's difficult for me to speak to Google and Yelp because those aren't my industry. That's not my industry at all. So just wrapping up this video, I want to say the 4 things that you should speak to in your response when you're saying why you're interested in a company. You should speak to the mission and values. You should speak to their products. You should speak to their cultures, and you should speak to the populations that they're serving. That is what you should speak to. And you can even tie in things of how innovative they are and how you want to be a part of that innovation. I think that if I ever applied for like a tech job in health tech, or I would only move to health tech, but in health tech, I would really speak to the level of innovation and how important it's going to be for the future, and how I want to be able to have a seat at the table and advocate for people who can't advocate for themselves. But my thing, my career, my branding for me is all about advocating for marginalized communities and uplifting people and empowering people to pursue their passions and dreams. So any response that I give to a question like that is always going to tie back to my personal branding. And a lot of the times my personal branding aligns with the missions and values of the companies that I apply to. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, hit that subscription button. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching the interview question series. Bye.